let's begin.
Interesting name. Okay. So yes, this is my first time doing this.
Same here.
And I feel very much like I'm okay to mess it up.
There's no
Like,
messing up.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I want to do this regularly, so I make all the mistakes. Literally, I'm like,
Mistakes or experience?
yeah. So I'll be making a lot of mistakes, and slowly getting better. Watching and improving, Yeah, I'm still not sure what I'll do with the videos. I'm pretty sure I'll just make them, watch them, see how I can improve, and with time, if I get something that I feel it's worthwhile sharing to the internet, then I'll do that. But it will be 100% with your consent, and you'll see the footage and everything before. So
Awesome.
super chill vibes. There's no performing here. It's
Being real.
It's very real. This is the thing. You can't fake the whole meditation thing. It's not an act. So yeah, there's no like performing.
No.
I'd really like to feel like we can talk about anything
Of course.
and yeah, make all the mistakes. Okay. Okay. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Lucian. I'm from South Africa, and like a lot of people, I've had a rough childhood. You could say. I had a lot of difficulties when I was young. I was raised by a narcissistic individual who's emotionally abusive, physically abusive, and I spent a lot of my life, adult life, suffering from the wiring that I acquired when I was a kid. And it's very recent that I'm sort of coming out of it, coming out to coming back to sanity and really enjoying life and feeling fulfilled in general and feeling happier in general. And this is what brought me to the yogic path of yoga, path of meditation, because I was looking for a way out of my mind, because that was where the problems were. My mind was sort of the trap. I was trapped and completely identified with my mind, which actually was the conditioning of my father, which was, like I said, very abusive. So yeah, I was living in a fictional world, and I love to say that it was, this is like past tense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was living in a fictional world where I was living by my father's programming, and yeah, I wasn't living a happy existence. And this is one of the ways out of it, one of the ways out of the monkey mind. Yeah, it's not the only way, but it's a very extremely effective way if you understand how to practice meditation properly. Is really you come out of the mind and you feel much more at peace, much more happy in general. So that's what we'll do. Roshni, I really appreciate you doing this with me. This is the first one.
Thank you.
So yeah, would you like to introduce yourself? To say anything? Yeah.
Well, my name is Roshni. I'm from, as you may be able to tell from the accent, the UK, but I feel like I'm a citizen of Mother Earth, really. And I'm really thankful to also have come across the yogic path because of, to be honest, suffering. And suffering is the thing that, motivated me. Suffering can look bad on the surface level, but then actually it's the thing, when the pain of now gets more than the pain of change, we change. And it's helping me more these days, more recently, to come out of these mind patterns that I couldn't even see myself separate from them. But now I'm starting to realise there are mind patterns and things that again have come from childhood. So it's self-awareness, and it's a way to become self-aware. So along with other things, it's been really useful tool in my life so that I can train my mind so it's not like an untrained dog anymore.
Yeah.
Getting there.
wonderful. So, do you want to share about your meditation practice these days, just in general?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so just spending just 20 minutes. It's not very long, but it's just some time every morning, and I try and do every morning because this is an anchor that as soon as I get up, fold my blanket, just 20 minutes of something, just closing my eyes and being with myself, because these past few, definitely in the last month, I've started to realise that the relationship with myself is the most important one of all, and to nurture that I actually need to honour myself and spend time alone by myself and watch my thoughts. So it's silent meditation. I have the sound of the ocean, which is really nice, and just to be with myself for 20 minutes is, in a way, I see it as an act of self-love. And then when I start to care for myself and nurture myself, I'm not outside, like outwardly seeking it from other people, so it also helps me to have a more wholesome and genuine loving relationship with others, because I don't want something from them anymore like what I used to.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I also see it as an act of more than just self-love, personally, because in my mind before, I felt like this doing good for yourself is doing good for others. It sounded very much like just a story, but I've really seen this in reality now. When you are doing good things for yourself, helpful things for yourself, you're helping the world. I mean, it's like you are in a much better state to be of service to other people. So more than just self-love, it's like really loving other people, other beings. It's like you're doing a really wonderful thing, working with your mind, and a brave thing, because it's difficult to work with the monkey mind, which I love to say a lot of the time. It's like a powerful force of nature. Our minds shaped the modern world, and some minds in particular have been so powerful in changing the course of history. So we're working with an incredible force of nature. So yeah, more than just self-love, I think we really are doing justice to the world in general. So yeah, from the outside it doesn't look like that. It just looks like, the guy's just sitting by himself, and you are, but in the long run, you really are doing an amazing thing for yourself and other people. So okay, where to go from here? How about we do a 5 minutes meditation, and then we can just talk about anything that comes up, maybe any kind of challenges. Just a couple minutes, and I'd like to invite you to do your own practice, so you can do whichever technique you want, and let's just see what kind of experience we have, and then we can share. Okay. All right.
You can tell me when 5 minutes is up, because I haven't got a clue.
I'm gonna guess at it, but
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, you can close the eyes. Alright, so I'd like to ask a question, Roshni. I feel like there's so many different answers that I get from people when I ask this, because it seems like in the meditation community there's not much clarity on what meditation is. So I'd love to hear from you what meditation actually is to you, and there's no right or wrong. What is meditation?
Good question. What is meditation for me? For me, it's self-awareness. It's self-awareness, being able to detach from my thoughts and really realise I'm not my mind. I'm not my body. I'm none of those things. I'm the thing watching that, which is consciousness. And being self-aware enough to realise that, because then the mind patterns aren't as powerful. The thoughts are not as, for example, the negative thoughts are not as pervasive if I know that I'm not that, and that they're just passing through me like the clouds pass through the sky. So when I actually sit and watch them, it's like they're easier to they're easier to put aside if they're negative, because otherwise in daily life, if I don't meditate, I don't have that space between the thought and the reaction, kind of. With the meditation, I find that rather than reacting, it's almost like things slow down. So when I think something, when it comes out my mouth, there's a space, so maybe I actually respond differently. Literally a space between the stimulus and the response, because otherwise it used to be very easy to just be triggered by something. So I find that the meditation is that self-observing is what allows a pause, so that it's more of a response that comes out rather than just a reaction.
It's not a conditioned response.
Exactly.
It's like in the moment, rationalized response.
Exactly. It's like if you put your hand in hot water, there will be a natural reaction to pull it out because it's hot water. And I realised that when I wasn't as self-aware, that would happen in my daily life. Someone would say something, or something would happen, some circumstance would happen, I would just be at the mercy of that thing, just react. But with the meditation, there's a gap between the thing happening and what I do in response. It's almost like it slows things down, there's more time. And this means that it's not just that my reaction is at the mercy of the outside circumstance. It's like I can actually decide, it's like a conscious decision, rather than just, something's happening to me, I have to react in a certain way.
Okay, beautiful. Alright, yes, thank you for that.
What about you?
Yeah, what about me? I really struggled to answer this question, and it's why I focus very much on how to practice meditation properly, because there's so many ideas that I have in my mind, that everyone seems to have in their mind about what meditation is, that I've almost given up on what it is. I focus so much on exactly how to practice properly and how am I developing in my practice. And just personally, this has been very helpful. So I obsess about, am I practicing correctly? Because it is a science. It's really not, in my opinion, it's not magic. You're not sitting down and, praying and hoping for, a blissful experience or divine grace, divine intervention. You are actually doing something. You're working with the forces of nature in a way. So you have to understand these forces of nature, and you have to direct them very intelligently, and then you'll get a certain result. So yes, the way I rationalize meditation is that these days we have a huge problem in the way we are living. We're very much in our minds, in our rational, intellectualizing minds, and we kind of use all our energy just here, you know. It's very seldom that we get the balance back and we are in our physical sensations and really physically in the present moment. So the techniques that I practice are very much they use the senses. So I'm getting out of the mind and I'm fully in the present moment.
Yeah.
So I'm not living from like these past conditionings, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to talk about some technique for meditation before we do the next one. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Alright. So yeah, I would say in general, I carry my meditation practice with me throughout the day, into every experience. So even this experience, you could call it meditation for most people, because my awareness is not in my mind.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy practice to bring into every situation, because at the beginning it's like you constantly reminding yourself, like, are you in your sensation? Are you in your sensation?
Yeah.
But throughout the day, my awareness is fully in my breath or in my physical sensations in my body. And when I sit down to meditate, it's like a very subtle transition from daily life to deeper meditation practice. So I'd love to practice this with you. So so I'd like to guide something and just see your experience, and then I'd love to talk about it after. Okay? So we got to keep the eyes open for now, and I'd like you to just feel your body, your skin basically. So you can feel the wind coming over your skin.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is going to be our anchor. So we use this awareness or this attention purely on the skin, and we use our awareness to watch our mind. So we're almost doing two things at once. So our attention is fully in our sensation. Okay, you can feel your skin. And sooner or later, a thought comes up. Yeah? Have you had any thoughts yet?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's great, because that means you're very much in your sensation. Okay, so holding the attention fully in your sensation. With time, some idea or anything can come up. You know, oh, I'm thirsty, and this is totally natural thing. Yeah. So instead of reacting to it on one hand, and instead of suppressing it on the other, about meditating, I shouldn't think, we are using our awareness to see it, okay, while still remaining in the sensation. So our attention is sensation, it's our anchor. The thought comes up, we're aware of it. This is the hardest thing to do. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's go a little bit deeper. We'll close our eyes. We're anchored with our attention and our sensation. aware of our thoughts. And we can see, when we can fully be aware of our thought and anchored in the sensation only exists in the present, we are free from our mind. You'd say liberated. Even emotion, if emotion comes up, it's still a thought, it still exists in the mind. Sadness or happiness. We're coming out of the ideas of the mind and coming fully to the present. Our sensations, the hearing, the seeing, the smelling, the tasting, the feeling, only exists in the now, in the reality. The stories of the mind, the happiness, the sadness, the I'm hungry, the I'm bored, these are all fictional, these are all stories. You don't need your mind to tell you that you're happy to be happy. You don't have to have an idea in your mind of happiness. You're fully fulfilled, fully happy in every moment. Okay, let's come back to living in the real world, living in our mind, identifying with our mind. There's nothing wrong, it's a totally natural thing. You know, there's so much I could say about meditation, that I almost don't know where to start. It feels like there's so much to share about it. It's helpful to understand the fundamentals of what we're doing. It's like we sit down regularly to practice working with our mind. And it's very, very important to have a regular practice of meditation. Not too much, but also not too little, you know? Yeah. You have to balance it. So if you're meditating too much, it's just as helpful as meditating too little. So you have to find a groovy balance. A good one is morning and evening. So you meditate morning, evening, and yes, with time, if you are having a regular practice, you carry this practice into your daily life. Yeah, which is actually quite a big transition. It's not an easy one, but that's really where things start to change in general. But it's a delicate process, because what often happens is that you realize that you don't have to identify with your mind in the sitting, and you are fully satisfied. And when you come into a situation where you are fully identified with your mind says you're happy, then you're happy. When your mind says you're sad and hungry, then you're sad and hungry. It's like you want this peace all the time, and you want to meditate more and more and more. But there's nothing wrong with being identified with your mind. It's a totally healthy thing. When you get to the point where your mind is super peaceful and helpful and happy, you know? When you're identified with your mind and your mind's telling you, I'm depressed, I'm not enough, then, you know, there's a lot of work to do with cleaning out your mind. But this is the process, and it really is as simple as like finding a regular practice and enjoying the regular practice, and then with time bringing this into your daily life.
I think in the beginning, it's like it's like training a dog in a way, because in the beginning my mind didn't want to sit down to meditate. It didn't even want to sit down for 2 minutes, let alone 20 minutes. But it's like, even when if for example you decide you want to not eat sugar anymore, refined sugar or salt or something, and in the beginning you've got that period where it's still in the blood, but we're not having it, so we're still craving it. But then when you stop, when you maybe 3 weeks have gone past or something, then you don't crave it anymore, because it's not in your system. In the same way, like with the meditation, to get to a point where we enjoy it, first of all we might have to like push ourselves to actually do it every day. That's an effort then. But after a couple of weeks, or after however long, a little bit of time, it becomes nice and we actually want to do it. But in the beginning there is that period where we might have to feel like we're doing something we don't want to in the start. And then after that it's enjoyable, I feel.
For sure. Like putting the monkey mind in a cage for a while.
Training it.
A
little bit.
And that's the thing, that's the delicate balance that we're looking for, is we are very much making friends with our mind. But there is this like necessity to have some strong will or some discipline at the beginning, at least.
Just in the beginning. And then afterwards it's not an effort to do it because you actually want to do it. It's a joy to do it. But in the beginning that wasn't the case, and my mind was definitely giving me issues. It was like, no, you have to get up and do this, it's a waste of time, this and that. I just had to say to it, like, no, you will sit, just like my friend says to the dog, sit. It's like, sit, Karen. I call her, like, you know, I call her Karen. Like, sit, Karen. You're gonna listen to me. You're gonna just sit for 10 minutes if you want. In the beginning, I was doing 10 minutes, and she didn't like it. She was resisting. She was giving all sorts of stuff. Of course she was, but then after a while, she realizes, oh, Roshni's not gonna listen. She's gonna make me sit here for 10 minutes. So I'll sit here for 10 minutes.
It's funny that. Because like you said, at the beginning it's like you will do this, mind. But then later on, when it starts enjoying it, it's like, I want to meditate more. It's so weird that.
It's like 20 minutes.
You're like, okay, no, let's not meditate now. We have to go live in the world.
Right?
It's so weird that.
Because it feels so peaceful. I mean, the real peace, though, I've realised, is not... Okay, it's easy to be peaceful in a peaceful environment, but can we be peaceful when there's chaos going around? That's the real peace, and I feel like that's what meditation helps us to achieve, because it's easy to be peaceful when there's nothing outside going on.
Yeah. But more, I would like to say this, more than just peace, it's a lot of the benefits from this process is joy.
Yes.
It's more than just peace. Like, people often think that meditators are always blissed out and like fucking detached and like, you know, but the truth is they're really fucking happy. Like, they're actually way more joyful and energized in general. And the thing is, the things they aren't suffering from in general is anger and greed. Because their minds are much more pure, they're much more fulfilled. They're giving their minds what they need.
Yeah, and we don't need stuff from outside people or circumstances as much, because I'm realising more and more these days, love is something to give, not something to get. And then when we're around other people, we're not constantly grabbing and needing from them, because what we thought in the past that only can come from them, we realise we can give it to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like I've got a juicer. This example is useful, I think. It's relevant is the word. It's relevant. If I go to the juice stand, it's because I want to, not because I need to. Because if I want, I've got the juicer here. I can make pineapple juice myself. But do you see what I mean? Like, in a way.
Sorry, I've lost this analogy. It's too funny.
Cut. No, I'm saying that I've realised that the thing I thought I would have to go outside to get, I can make it myself.
Okay, I see.
I can make the juice myself. I've got it in my home.
Get high on your own supply.
Yeah, exactly. High on my own supply. So then, if I do choose to go to the juice stand, it is a choice. It's not like I need them for the juice. I can do it myself. It's a choice. I'm actually like wanting it, not needing it. So just like I've got a juicer, we've all got our own supply of love in here, but we don't all know about it.
Yeah.
So when we do start to know about it, then we're not clinging to the outside and needing and sort of craving outside, fulfillment, because we have our own one. And then it's nice for the other people or other circumstances, other things as well, because we're not just using them to distract ourselves from ourselves, which is what I for sure used to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
sometimes
all of us.
Yes,
everyone does. Yes, totally natural thing. Okay, yeah, super helpful to say that we do have we have so much joy and happiness and peace, everything that we're looking for in life. We really do have it inside, but it's very much blocked by our minds. It's so hard to imagine this. This is the problem. This process is not about using your intellect. Your imagination. I mean, it's helpful for the process, but when you're practicing properly, it's like going to the gym. It really is. Like, you have to go regularly to get the result. You have to sit down and meditate regularly to get the result, and you have to bring this practice into your daily life, and you will get the result of more happiness, more joy, more peace in general, better relationships with yourself, better relationships with other people. Thing is, we're just not taught this in the modern world. It seems like a spiritual thing that you go to India for like a week, like a holiday. But the shit is it's really pragmatic, you know. It's
fundamental.
Yeah.
And also using the breath, because the breath is with us. That's the thing that is for free, and we don't need, like, we're always breathing. It's such a good anchor in the beginning to focus on the breath in the first. Like for the first few breaths I count, but then after just focus on the breath here in the inside of the nostrils, in the same place that's coming in and out, because we'll always have it. It doesn't cost anything. It also helps to connect to other people and other living beings, because everything that exists, everything that is alive has to breathe, has to have gas exchange, every single thing.
Very interesting.
So, this is something that it was brought to my attention by the book I was talking about, the audio book that I'm listening to about how to meditate, and the guy who wrote it, whose name evades me right now. This is the point that he was making, that every living thing breathes. So when we're doing that, we're connecting to every living thing. We're also connecting to something that is constant and that will always be there as long as we're alive.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Yes. Okay. So, when it comes to meditation practice and using the breath, the thing is, we're using them as anchors, right?
Yeah.
So the mind is fucking always in the future, always in the past. It's always making funny stories and things. And this thing, I love the mind. It's not like I have some like, oh, the mind is bad, da da da. It's totally, like, at the moment it's my best friend. It's super helpful, you know. Right. It's like just says funny things and I laugh. It's like, really, it's great.
Helps you to organise your life.
But the problem is, if you're fully identifying with your mind, you are in the future and you're off in dreamland. It's very rare that we are fully in our sense. Like fully, like times when you're having an extreme workout or you're swimming in the ocean and you feel like this amazing, like, wow, this is so enjoyable. It's because you are fully in your sense.
Right.
There's no mind stuff. There's no like, oh, thought this is nice.
Yeah.
It just is nice.
Yeah,
it is nice. So this is why we use things like the breath, like the sensation, like even sound, smell, taste, because they only exist now.
Yeah.
And you don't, like I said, it's really, you don't need your mind to be happy.
Exactly.
The happiness is here, but the mind wants to make a story about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, these are all wonderful anchors, and there's no one is better than the other. For long-term development with practice, this is a long-term thing. The breath is especially good.
Yeah.
Because when you get to more advanced techniques, the breath is just very helpful. So yeah, a wonderful tool that, like you say, is always with us. And it's something we inherited from our ancestors, you know. My breath I got from my dad. His dad was breathing before him.
Yeah.
His dad. It's actually continuous. So if you think like the time between breaths, you know, since the fucking Neanderthals that you're related to is probably like a few minutes.
Wow, yeah.
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a cool
It's
thing.
amazing.
Yeah. But again, this is all mind stories. It doesn't help meditation unless it, you know, motivates you to sit down more and like practice more in your daily life.
Yeah, well, like you were saying the other day, it's 1% talking and 99% doing.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be doing.
1% theory.
Yeah, that's the word.
And 99% practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the practice that really matters, and we can sit all day and talk about it, but if we don't do it, then
you don't get the result.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't.
So
yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Just off the top of your head, from your heart, in general? I'll also think about it.
It's just beautiful to finally discover that everything we need is inside, and I'm thankful to the meditation because it makes me feel. It's scary, of course it's scary, because it's facing ourselves. I mean, to be honest, it's easier to be out doing some job, it's easier to be out doing some work, some activity, than to sit and be with ourselves. This is one of the hardest things for most people, including myself. Now I find it a bit easier because it's a bit more trained, but definitely even a few weeks ago I was struggling. So I realised that meditation makes us more sensitive. It makes us feel. It makes all the things that were deep down inside come up to the surface. And this is actually really important because we need to feel the emotions to be able to heal them. They say feeling is healing. It's true. I find when we can really feel those emotions and they're acknowledged and fully felt and fully seen. What I'm learning these days is that surrender is not a choice. Surrender just happens when we felt something enough. It's like you have a hot potato, you don't have a choice to drop it, it just drops out of your hands. You can't choose, it just happens, right? When people say, oh, let go, choose to let go, for me letting go is not a choice. When I felt the emotion enough, it will let go of me, it will drop from me. It's something passive. But meditation for me has been one of the vital things in being able to feel. So it's almost indirectly causing the surrender, because it makes me feel everything, and then when I felt everything enough and the suffering has got too much, it will drop by itself. So this is what I find has been so useful, and when it does drop, then it finally dawns on me, oh my god, all this stuff that I'd been wanting from the outside world that I didn't even realise because I didn't have a chance to be on my own like this, like for how I've been for the past month. It's really, got me to see that it's all in here. But I didn't know that until I was alone with myself and feeling all these emotions, which at the time it felt so scary. But it's that intense because it's leaving.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Yes, we have to feel to heal, right? Okay, feel to heal. Yeah, it's not easy for the masculine side of things, I can tell you. Feeling like experiencing sadness and expressing sadness is something that is very much not welcomed in, say, the West, Western culture. So, but it's absolutely necessary, to feel more fulfilled and happy in general. You really, like you say, have to feel them when they come and surrender to them when they come. Or just not distract ourselves, because the surrendering, we can, again, it's not an intellectual thing, it drops when it drops, it goes away when it goes away, the pain. But if we can be sensitive to something and we can feel it fully, then when it's served us, it will leave by itself. We don't have to make an effort to try and drop something, because I was getting so caught up when people say, just let go, just surrender. And I was like, why can't I? What the fuck to surrender?
Why can't I do it? It's not going away. It's not going away. Because I wasn't feeling it enough. When I felt it enough, I didn't have to think about it. I woke up and it was less pain than the day before, less suffering than the day before. Like, something's changed.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And crying as well. This has really helped too. Sometimes in the meditation, if the tears come up, it's okay, because this is the inner child inside actually being heard and being felt. So
that's interesting, because I wanted to mention this as well. More than just feeling the emotion, it's expressing it. In a therapeutic way or in a healthy way. Even with anger, anger comes up, and often we suppress it, But the thing is, it's very helpful to feel anger and express anger in the right way. So, if you're screaming your head off in nature or something, for example.
Also anger is a tool. We see anger in the West usually as something bad, but it's actually a tool because it tells us where our boundaries are. It tells us where our boundaries. It tells us if something doesn't feel okay. If we didn't have anger, we'd just be a doormat, to be honest. So this is anger can be used to show us where there's something happening that we don't like. And then we've got two options. We either try and change the situation if it's changeable, or we change the way we think about it. But there's no point to not try and change something and not be accepting. I think we can either, what am I trying to say? We either change the thing or we accept it. But the anger is useful because it shows us where something is not satisfactory or something that we don't like. If we didn't have that anger, we wouldn't be able to decipher that. So anger is a good thing, in a way.
Yeah, in a way it can be.
As long as we express it in a, what's the word, responsible way. Not just react. Respond. Because there's a difference. React might be something's happened and just automatic, putting the hand in the hot water and having to pull it out. It's just a reaction. But respond is having the pause, the time there to be able to decide. Okay, this has happened. What am I going to do about it? What's the conscious choice rather than just automated response?
Stimulus and response. Without
exactly.
that. Making that gap bigger. Stimulus and response.
And then the anger doesn't have to be used in a negative way. We can express our boundaries politely, responsibly, in a more conscious manner rather than just raising our voices or having a temper or something like that. Anger can help us, meditation can help us express the anger in a more responsible way.
Okay. Don't really know what else to say here. Okay.
Well, I need a wee,
close.
so maybe.
Let's close.
Too much watermelon.
Let's close. Okay. Thank you, everyone that would potentially be watching or listening to this. yeah, I really hope that this helps people. Like this, feeling of community, that there's more than just yourself meditating around the world. I mean, this is a very important, I really believe it's a very important part of being a human, is this regular checking in with yourself and like developing a good relationship with yourself. I think our ancestors have been doing it for thousands of years, and something that's a bit lost to us in the modern world. So don't feel like you're alone, and keep practicing in a way that's joyful and helpful, and regular. And you will see amazing benefit in your life, like really amazing benefit.
Yeah, and it's even something you said just made me think of something when you said regular, and this is it. Consistency is more than quantity. Even if you, like, people have laughed at me in the past for meditating for 10 minutes a day.
Oh, but that's such a good.
But this is now I do a bit more. But even if you meditate for 1 minute every day, it's better than doing 10 minutes once in a blue moon. Do you know what I mean? It's better to do something consistently every day, because then you can add to it. You can add to it so much more easily if you're already doing it every day, and you already have an anchor, like every morning or every evening, something that keeps it regular. But if you just do it once when you feel like it, for even if it's an hour, but you just do it once every now and then, it's not going to have the same effect as even doing it for 1 minute every day. So don't be discouraged. Even 1 minute counts.
Yeah, it really does. So yes, okay. Say 5 minutes, morning, evening.
There you go.
That is actually plenty. If you can be consistent with that for like months and months, that is the fucking gold. Yeah.
And if you
amazing.
Want, you can always add more if you want.
But
at least you've got the habit still every day.
Yeah. Okay, let's leave it at that. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, and yes, thank you. Bye.